I think what I'm gonna do is make a short series of videos of like my workflows, um, and maybe they will make sense to you, maybe they won't. But this is what I do. I think the general theme is that the way other people use computers just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like the vast majority of people, like when I see somebody have like a like their windows and it's like this, it's all over the place. Here, I can emulate um I can emulate what other people do. Like they have their windows like splayed all across the screen like this. Like what the fuck are you doing? Like honestly. And I don't mean to insult. Maybe I should be less extreme with this, but like you are on a computer all day and it never once occurred to you that this was stupid as fuck. Like the bet and those the people who do this usually don't even know that you can do like a three finger swipe up and then click on a window. Usually they just like move them around like this. And then I tell these people like, hey, at least download something like Rectangle. You can download this app. It used to be Spectacles, but then that got deprecated or whatever. And then now the web page looks like shit because I have this dark reader on, but it's night, so I'm not going to turn it off. But you can download this, and then it gives you like a list of hotkeys to move around the window, and it's really nice. And like I tell people to install, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll install it." And I'm like, "No, seriously, install it right now." They install it, and then they don't use it, and it's like, dude, like, why are people so afraid of learning? Just learn. It's not that hard. Like you have to remember what four hotkeys. Left, right, up, down, or usually just left and right. Like just control option left, control option right. All you have to do is remember to use it, and people don't. Anyways, I'm using something even more extreme than this. I'm using yabai. So let me restart those services again. So I just have PRE bound to PM2 restart all. Okay, so this first video will detail my workflow with yabai, which is Mac only, and skhd, which is also Mac only. So if you're on Windows, there might be an equivalent, but um, I don't know. And the auto hotkey might be an equivalent to skhd, whatever. This is about Mac, okay? And this is about one screen. Okay, my thinking with regard to like computers is that it's you can only look at one thing at once. So I don't need them side by side because I can only look at one at one time. And that's why when I use a text editor, I don't have a file tree because why would I need it? Because I'm not looking at it unless I'm looking at it. And if I'm looking at it, I can just bind a hotkey to open the file tree. And that takes pretty much the same amount of time that it would take my eyes to go move over it. Like, and I actually have never, like, I've been coding how many years now? For the past year, haven't needed a file tree ever. So, yeah, I don't get that. But anyways, like the general theme, the reason I bring that up isn't just to be rude, but like the general theme is we're only looking at one thing at a time. And that's why the MacBook Air is a perfectly suitable development or just like general computer usage environment if you set it up properly. I don't need a big screen. I have a big screen and it's very comfortable, but I'm much faster on this computer. Like, it's also because I've set it up a bit more, but like, I think I will always be faster on this computer, no matter how much I set up some big screen, because once you get a hang of the hotkeys, like, and you're not moving windows around, it's just much faster. So let's take a look at Yabai and let's take a look at skhd. So you install these. To install Yabai and have the scripting work, you have to like so Yabai is a window manager. So like as you can see, when I open a new window, it will automatically arrange it for me and like to take up the maximum space possible, right? So if I open a new window, it's not perfect, but I rarely do this configuration. You might do something like this. Um, yeah. And I sort of disagree with the way it opens windows. Like it uses this BSP configure. Like if you want it to lay out the windows like this, you have to set it to use BSP, which stands for binary spaced partitioning or something. And basically, like every time you open a new window, it'll like open it according to this binary tree, but I think it should open it like this window. If I open a new window while my mouse is hovering this, I think it should split the window in half. So do it on the bottom, but it doesn't. So like I don't know. I'm not super happy with it, but it is much better than everything else. So I guess that's the general theme with everything computer related. So you install this, and that's what it does. So with Rectangle, what you do is manually move the windows over. This one always like full screens a window. And the other theme here is that um I I didn't like Rectangle because it would become very disorganized very quickly. Even though the windows were taking up a good amount of space, like I might have like several windows open on the same thing on the same desktop, but they would be covering each other or something, and then setting this up would take you have to do issue 4 commands to set. Like you saw how fast I just set this up, like, but to set it up with Rectangle, I'd have to do a command to set one terminal to the bottom left, and then one to the bottom right, and one to the top right, and then the browser to the top left. But with Yabai, it just does it automatically. Um, and then I can like switch things around if I want very easily. Um, but and so what ends up usually happening is that with Rectangle you have like two windows. You might have some windows on the left, some windows on the right, maybe one full screen, and then you're just using a 3-finger swipe upwards on MacBook, which shows you all the windows on the current desktop and then clicking one. I like being forced to like see all the windows because it forces me to be more organized. Like if I don't need a window, I close it, and like it just forces me to find more organized solutions because every window is constantly at like the forefront. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then you have skhd, um, and this, yeah, it works really well. So I'm gonna go through a lot of my hotkeys, and not a lot, but some of them, um, all of them, which is a few, and tell you the ones I really like. So on the theme of forcing yourself to do something, I will frequently, like if I notice myself wanting to do something that's better, I will like disable the thing that's inferior that I'm doing instead. So I was noticing that I was 3-finger swiping left and right, which brings you between desktops on Mac OS. Okay, but um, I wanted a hotkey that would switch me between desktops, and that's much, much, much faster than the 3-finger swipe. Like, and and so I disabled the 3-finger swipe, which is why I can't show it to you right now. So I will like disable things a lot to force myself to not use them anymore. So, and another thing is that I put a big focus on ergonomics, which is why I'm like sort of um, like I'm happy with the current configuration, not just because I thought of hotkeys to do something, but because of the ergonomics of the hotkeys, where it's like I've been using like what I do is if I realize I'm doing a task a lot, I try to assign some hotkey to it, and it but usually eventually I stop using them because it's not ergonomic enough and change it to something else. And that's what happened with Vim a lot, where I would change Vim hotkeys, and because I don't like think there's any point in mnemonics, which is what a lot of the Vim hotkeys are based off of, like F being find, D being delete. Like I think mnemonics are stupid, but it was kind of a coincidence with Vim that I think the ergonomics of the default configuration is already like pretty good. And so when I would try to change things and switch them up, I'm sure there's a more efficient thing, but Vim is already like 90% there. And that's why I think Emacs is stupid. Like I'd rather hit like not Emacs isn't stupid, but like the default hotkeys for something like Emacs seem stupid to me because Like, I'm happy to hit 3 keys instead of one if the 3 keys are in a super convenient location. So, like, G commands, I've set GL to go to the end of the line in Vim. I didn't mean to get into Vim here, but like this is part of the theory of like my overarching like perspective on workflows, I guess, which is my hands are already on the home row usually. Like I don't do touch typing or whatever, but my hands are on the home row. So GL is insanely easy to hit. So GL brings me to the end of the line. But typing $sign to go to the end of the line, which is the default in Vim, like it's just GL is so much better. Like I can type GH and GL instead of $sign and caret. So that's sort of the theory here, which is like I'm okay with hitting more keys because it's faster to hit more keys if it's more ergonomic. Because if it's ergonomic, you just get like this, maybe not faster, but just like super swift. Okay, so um, yeah, we have yabai and skhd. So now let me show you my the yabai config is just like whatever. Like these are just loading the scripting add-on. You have to have these in here either way. That's part of this. This is part of the tutorial, not this tutorial, but the yabai tutorial on their GitHub. And then I just add some padding and window gap. I'm gonna make another video on this, but like I used to be like, oh, I want everything to take up the maximum space, but I've since decided that I don't want that, but I'll make a video about that. Set the layout to BSP so that it like automatically does stuff. Set auto balance to on. What that does is instead of like if I split this window, instead of just like having it locked in to like it can only use this space, it'll like take into account all the windows and balance them all. Okay, so maybe I can even delete one and show you what would happen if with that off, or maybe not. Or I guess I could do PM2 restart. Yeah, so this is with auto balance off. You can see how it didn't push this window. So I prefer having auto balance on, even though I rarely end up using it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, focus follows mouse. This is insanely important to me. Like, if this were like for some reason gone all of a sudden, I would throw a tantrum because like I don't have to click anything ever. Like pretty like I have to click browsers, but I never have to click a terminal window. Like I can type L here and then go back to this and not click. It's so much faster. And yeah, and then I just have some random rules. These like kind of don't really matter. Like just that system settings stays on top. So if I go to preferences, or I guess it's settings now, it just always stays on top. Like this is just essentially saying I don't want to manage this window. But anyways, so that's the yabai config. It's not really the main thing here. The main thing is the simple key. I don't know why he named it this because it's supposed to stand for simple hotkey daemon, but he named it skhd, which is not the thing. So I'll go through the most important ones here first. So command return opens a terminal. So I'm going to order these in order of most important. So I use iterm, and I want it to open a new window in the current instance of iterm. So if you like look at my doc, you can see that we have these applications running. If I open a new iterm window, you can see there's still only one iterm. I get, is instance the correct word? I don't know, but there's only one iterm instance running. But if you just do like open -a iterm or whatever it would be, it would create a new. Oh, can I do that? Or would it be iterm 2? Iterm 2. Oh, it would be -an. Dude, whatever. Okay, it would open a new one, and it's just like loads a little bit slower, and I don't like that. So I have this script here, which is just this. It just, yeah, and it works fine. Okay, then we have Google open browser. So I just set command 0 to open the browser. That's the next important one. So if I do Command 0, it just opens the browser. And you can see it's like kind of weird, like Command Return opens a terminal, Command 0 opens a browser. Um, I don't know, that's just what I decided. It works, and I like it. It's fine. Um, okay, what's next most important? Um, yeah, those two are the main ones, and then this one I really want to talk about is the Command Tab and Command Escape. So this really hits home the point of ergonomics, is that Command Tab is my natural hand's resting position. Like I all I have to do is move my hand to the left. And like my hand is just resting. It can rest directly on Command Tab. And so I'm not straining my hand at all. So to switch between desktops, and I have caps lock bound to tab, you can do that in the macOS system preferences. Um, I can just switch between stuff really quickly, and which is one of the most frequent things I do. That's another theory, like part of this conceptual framework, is that super frequent things should be the most ergonomic and the easiest to do. So I'm switching between desktops insanely frequently. And that's also why I disabled the three finger swipe, is because let's say I want to go three desktops to the right, it's way faster to go Command Tab 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 than it is to go right finger swipe right, three finger swipe right, again, it's just way faster. Like especially once you start using it, you're like, okay, this is swift, because like you can also like move your mouse as, and I just thought of this right now, but that's something that I really like about it, where it's like, if I, let's say I'm developing this app right here, and I'm testing it out, like here's the code, I'm developing it, like I can go from code, click a button here, then code again, and without like moving my hands at all, so right now I'm testing stuff for work, and it prints stuff out to the server when I click a button and I need to see the logs, so I just go, I'm just here, I save the config, I tab, press the button, go back, and just look at the server. And that is like, it's just Swift, and if, I guess if you get it, you get it. So yeah. So those are really, really nice, okay? Um, these I rarely use. Like just if the windows get fucked up, I can swap them around. These could be pretty not ergonomic and I wouldn't care because I rarely use them. Okay. Another one is Command E. So this one's really important, and it's an important for a similar reason to this, is that if I do Command E, I can see the desktop. And this kind of brings up an idea of what's comfortable isn't usually what's fast. Okay? The most comfortable thing here would be to let's say I have a browser open here, and and there's some application that requires me to drag and drop a file, and the file's on my desktop. It might feel ergonomic to like go to a new desktop and then grab your file. Here, let's just and then like grab your file and then Command Escape and drop it in. And that's another reason why this Command Tab and Command Escape shit is so good, is because like I can just grab files and stuff, right? So, but what's actually even better is just doing Command E, and I can see the desktop and put it back, put it in the browser. Or like if I have folders and stuff, I can go to the desktop, grab it. So like there's this really like this deep inclination to like have this comfortable space of the desktop, and like to be able to move like windows, uh to be able to like move windows out of the way and drag stuff. Like this is the most comfortable thing to do, but it's like it's not as good, you know. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So Command E. Yeah, some of these will overwrite some other stuff like with browsers or something, but again, like it's worth doing because these are like the most frequent actions. Okay, another one is Alt N, and that will just create a new desktop and bring you to the thing you opened. Um, so I use that all the time. So you can see now if I go back here, this is still like before I had two terminal windows, and so Alt N, and then now if I go back, you can see there's only one. So you can see here are, yeah. Okay, and then Control Alt Backspace, deleting a desktop. So I'm not one of these people who likes to leave stuff running. I don't like once I'm done with work, I close every terminal window and all of that. It just feels much more organized to me. And I like closing stuff. Like I'm just a very really like OCD with that sort of thing. Like I like having like only the things I'm focusing on open. And that's why I like Fuzzy Home so much. I'll make a video about Fuzzy Home, but that's one of the reasons I like Fuzzy Home so much is because um, it's it lets me close tabs because getting to a new tab is so easy. You know, this is the Chrome extension if you want to download it, but like um, I can just it doesn't matter like let me do GitHub Fuzzy Home. Like it doesn't matter I can close this tab because it doesn't matter the amount of time it took to get to this is so small. I talk about it in the Fuzzy Home video. Okay, so I like setting things up in such a way where it's just as fast, if not faster, to be organized. And I think a lot of people don't do that because of like technical limitations. Because you have to set up your workflow in such a way. You know, so yeah. Anyways, so Control Alt Backspace will delete a desktop. So you could see I was on the rightmost desktop. I pressed Control Option Delete, and then it deleted that desktop and then moved the window. I wish it would move the window with me to this current window, but it moved it to the first window, which, whatever. Okay, Command F, this is a big one, is full screen something. So, lately I've been tending to like, if I'm developing something, so if I'm like developing with Chrome, I'll have it full screen in its own window, and I'll just do Command Tab and Command Escape with it. But another thing you can do is have them side by side, and then and this is nice if your app is like small, but if it's like a whole website, you kind of need to be developing with it full screen because that's how most users are going to be using it, blah, blah, blah. But like apps like this one, like Fuzzy Home, I don't need it to be full screen, so I can develop like this. But then sometimes I might pop open the developer console, so I can just go Command F, it's full screen now, and then Command F again to unfull screen it. And this works well with the focus follows mouse because you can see that the focus follows my mouse and I don't have to click before I full screen. So it's like insanely fast. Yeah. Okay. Control Alt Return, don't need that anymore. Command S in Chrome will bring me back home. So instead of having to like open a new tab and then close the previous one, I can just go Command S and go back to Fuzzy Home. Yeah. Okay, and then these ones that I mentioned. So that's it. I mean, that was kind of a long-winded video, but I guess the point was that this was kind of the intro video where I introduced the concepts that I am thinking about when I do this stuff. And yeah, so and I put this one, I wanted to make this video before a Vim video because I feel like this is so like all encompassing. Like this encompasses how you use a computer. Like Vim is an integral tool that I use, but this, especially this desktop navigation ones where like you can just go Command Tab and Command Escape. Like that's just like for some reason it got me so excited, like after thinking of that and then implementing it and using it for like a few months now, or maybe 2 months, like I feel so much faster with it. And it's not just coding, it's all my computer usage, which is pretty much just coding. So never mind. But yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, I used to use Spotlight a lot. I don't use Spotlight pretty much at all anymore. Like just open system preferences, some applications here and there, but pretty much the only things I ever open are terminals and browsers. So, yeah, you might want to, if there's another app you open very frequently, you can just add a hotkey for it, like Command 9 or something. I don't know. But yeah, so try it out if you want, if it seems like it would suit you. And yeah, let me know. Have a good day. Bye bye.